अमन के हम रखवाले, सब एक है अमन के हम रखवाले।
A couple of days ago, I met this young man who asked me, why aren't you putting out videos on Manipur? He said, we don't know exactly what's happening in Manipur. There's nothing on the mainstream media very much. And so I said, okay, I will do that. I will give you a rundown of what exactly happened in Manipur over the last week or so, starting from, say, the 15th of January till today. Today is the 21st of January. It's a very cold day here in Patna. Okay, today I will be dealing with events basically in two areas of Manipur, Churachandpur or Lamka as we call it, and Moray. Okay, so these two areas, and these two areas are in a way they have a sizable cookie population. Going through various news sites, I found that on the 17th, that is Wednesday, 7 residential houses, 2 churches and 3 schools were burnt down in Moray town. And Moray town is 108 kilometers from Imphal, the capital of Manipur. Moray is very, very famous in the sense that travelers like to go to Moray because that is where you have the Indo-Burmese or Indo-Myanmar border, and it's a border town, and you can just cross over to Burma, and so you can just cross over to the Burmese side and you can buy a lot of goods quite cheap. So many travelers like to go to Moray and just to go across the border, so you can say, well, I went over to Burma, right? I went over to Myanmar. Okay, you needn't have a passport, you just show your Aadhaar card and you go across. So, so that is the region I'm talking about. There is a lot of trade which goes on there because on the Burmese side you have goods which are fairly cheap. Now, according to news reports, and all these sources, all my sources are put down below. You just go down, scroll down, and then you'll find the links. Okay. Now, I have gleaned these reports from various sources, from Meithei sources, from Kuki sources, and from other national and international sources. Okay. On the 17th of January, 7 residential houses, 2 churches, 3 schools were burnt down, okay, in Moray town, as I have just said. And also, according to a news item in Yuka News, the sisters of the Missionary of Charity, they had to vacate their building because there was a gunfight going on and bullets actually came into their premises. Okay, so they also vacated that building. So let's go back a couple of days. We go to Monday, okay, the same area, Moray. We're talking about Moray town, okay. So on the 15th, that's Monday, so Kuki Zo women, we find them, they were protesting outside the office of the Additional Deputy Commissioner, okay, in Chikimvain. That's a place, a locality in Moray. And they were protesting, they were saying that the state-sponsored commandos who were about to be stationed at this complex, the Additional Deputy Commissioner's office complex. So the locals, the women were protesting. So they were saying that these people from the militant groups, they were also somehow included in these state forces. So there was apprehension that the Chief Minister, Biren Singh, wanted to basically create problems in Moray to deflect attention from what is happening in Imphal and other places. So on the same day, in the same place, at 5:50 p.m, the Manipur police commandos fired live rounds, injured a woman, and also arrested 2 two unarmed civilians from that group who were protesting outside the additional commissioner's office. One was the president of the Moray Youth Club, and the other was a village chief. He was the chief of Mulsangu.
The story has another spin from the Valley media. The official story is that the two men, Philip Khongsai and Hemkholal Mate, opened fire at security forces and were chased and arrested by the Manipur police. The police say that Philip is behind the killing of a Mora subdivisional police officer in October last year. The Valley media reports that the supporters of the two men tried to storm the Moray police station to free the accused. The security forces resorted to force in order to disperse the mob.
Okay, on the 17th you have this arson, churches are burned, schools are burned, okay, private houses are burned. It seems that there was first an exchange of gunfire, and then these houses were set on fire. So on the 18th, the Kuki Chiefs Association of Tengnupal district, they expressed their utter shock at the arson on January 17th. They said that this was done by miscreants disguised in Manipur police commando uniform. So this is what has been happening in the Moray area. Now let's go to Churachandpur, or as the Kukis call it, Lamka. Okay, this is another area. The joint student bodies Lamka and the Kuki Students Organization, they locked the offices of the district administration in Churachandpur and Fazol districts on Friday. Okay, so what's the backstory? Now let us go back to the 12th of November. Okay, now on the 12th of November there was news that 3 zonal education officers were placed under suspension by the government of Manipur. So why they were placed under suspension? Now it so happened that these 3 officials, they were the zonal education officers, so they were the competent authority to issue no objection certificates. What happened was, because of the continuing unrest in Manipur and this big bifurcation between the hills and the plains, so there were 26 schools which were under the state board, the state examination board. So these schools applied for CBSE affiliation, central affiliation, and these 3 officers, they issued the no objection certificate. However, in December 2023, the CBSE found that the applications were in order, the papers were in order, the proposals were okay, and so they granted CBSE affiliation with effect from the 1st of April this year, 1st of April 2024, to 26 of these schools. So evidently there were a lot of reactions to that, and there were objections aired by the state government, and of course surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, a few days after, that's on the 20th of December, what happens? These affiliations of 26 of these schools are just withdrawn. Okay, so they're de-affiliated. On January the 15th, that was Monday, last Monday, the 10 Kuki Zo MLAs of Manipur, elected representatives of the people, they submitted a memorandum to Amit Shah, the Home Minister, where they have expressly demanded that the suspensions of these 3 zonal education officers should be revoked. And the reason they gave is that the suspended officers were doing their legitimate duty in the interest of the affected students and under the extraordinary circumstances that were prevalent in the state and are prevalent in the state to this day. There have been riots and there have been insurgency and there have been killings. We all know about that. So the studies of these kids in Churachandpur district were affected, and they do believe that under no circumstances would the State Education Board of Manipur be able to do anything. So in the interest of the students, it was the MLAs who basically requested these officers to issue the no objection certificates. On the 15th, the Joint Students Body of Lamka, these are all the affected students, they have an organization called the Joint Students Body. So they locked the zonal education offices of Churachandpur and Farzol districts, and they also sent a memorandum or appeal to the chairman of the CBSE board, asking him to reverse the decision to disaffiliate these 26 schools from the CBSE board. Looking at the way things are spinning out in Manipur over the last 1 week, it is evident that this entire situation has not cooled down. It is evident that it is still a conflict zone. Just last Sunday, an ambulance driver, 102 ambulance driver, he was basically a Naga, and he was transporting medicines in the ambulance, okay, to a public health center, okay, and he was assaulted by Meitei miscreants, okay, under the pretext that he was transporting medicines to cookies. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that is going on a regular basis. From Saturday, that is Saturday yesterday, today Sunday, and tomorrow Monday, there is a Bandh. Okay, this Bandh is being called by Meitei groups. That means Imphal has been locked down again. Okay, there's a joint action committee of these Meitei groups. They are protesting the killing of a 23-year-old Meitei. Okay, his name is Manoranjan Singh. On the 18th also there was a scuffle in front of Raj Bhavan again. They were protesting the presence of the central forces in the state. And if we go to the other end, we go to the hills, they are protesting the use of the state-sponsored commandos in the hills. So this is what has been happening. So there's absolute breakdown of trust between the valley people and the hill people. So folks, that's what's been happening in Manipur over the past week or so. The people of the region are still wondering why the Prime Minister of the country hasn't bothered to visit or bothered to seriously make a statement on what's happening in Manipur. And I'd like to know if you found this small piece useful, so let me know. And if I should do at least once a month, I could give you a roundup of what's happening in the Northeast. If you'd like that, let me know about.